Hey everybody, Miss Dietrich here, helping you on slides 5 through 10 on lesson 9.4, which is on graph relationships, equations and graphs. So on slide number 5, you have this image, look for it, and they give us a t-table with the independent variable being the time in hours and the dependent variable being pancakes made, and they give us this unfinished graph that we have to finish. So the first thing we should be looking at is figuring out what are the intervals here for this x-axis. So it looks like it's sequential, 1, 2, right? And they give us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have to fill in the numbers. Let's do that first. So if this is a 1, this is a 2, this has got to be a 3, this has got to be a 4, this would be a 5, and this would be a 6. All right, the interval going on the y-axis looks like they have 200, 400, 600, 800, 1,000. But if you look, it looks like each line would represent 100, because this must be 100, this would be 200, this would be 300, 400, 500, 600. This would be 700, so this would be 800. This line right here would be 900, so that makes this 1,000. All right, so now we have to plot the points. And what we'll find here, this activity will show you that there's something called a linear equation, right? A linear function. So this is exactly that, and you'll see what I mean once we get this plotted. The first point has already been plotted. See, we go over 1. This is the x-axis, by the way, and this is the y. So we go over 1 up to 100. So this one's already been plotted. Let's plot this second ordered pair, which is over 2 up 400. We go over 2 up 400 and make sure you make a dot. I've had students that try to draw the line without making the dot. You must have the dots. All right, that's plotted. We're going to go over 3 up 600. Over 3 up 600, make a dot. Done. Over 4 up 800. Over 4 up 800. So that's here. Finished. And then over 5 up 1,000. Over 5 up 1,000. So that's going to go right here. All right, so the next thing now, on your Jamboards, you don't have the nice draw tool like I have, but I'm going to use the tool. You're just going to try to freehand it the best you can, which will be a little challenging. Draw a line, it goes all the way through. And then usually we like to put the little arrow tips on the end of our line to show that it continues. All right, so slide number 5, as long as you have everything that you see here, then you're all set with that slide, and we can start looking at slide number 6. So hit the little arrow to arrow your way through to get to slide number 6, and you'll see this on your screen. All right, so this time the independent variable is the time in hours, and the dependent variable is bicycles left to assemble. And we have the first ordered pair here has already been plotted for you. Over 0 up 10. See, over 0 up 10, it's already there. See the dots there, so let's put a check. The next ordered pair is over 1 up 8. So we're going to go over 1 on the x and go up 8 and make a dot. That one's done. Now this is a question mark, so we're going to skip this and come back to it. Let's go down to the next one. Over 3 up 4. Over 3 up 4. And let's make a dot. Done. All right, and now the next one is over 4 up 2. Over 4 up 2 and make a dot. Now, the reason that we skip this will become more clear once we draw our line, because we can use the line to make predictions. So I'm going to go all the way up here, draw my line. Now, on freehanding on a Jamboard is going to be a little more challenging. All right, so my line is drawn. Now, I can use the line to help myself to figure out this unknown value. If we go over 2 on the x and go up until we get to where the line crosses, see, that's right here where I'm putting this green dot. Now, where is that on the y-axis? It's at the 6. So that means that this would be a 6 where the question mark is. And doesn't that make sense? Because this is all sequential, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is decreasing by 2 each time. So if we subtract 2, the pattern is subtract 2. Subtract 2, subtract 2, subtract 2, subtract 2, right? If we're looking for some sort of a pattern. Now that's not the equation would not be subtract 2. So that's a whole nother lesson. We're going to be learning that for tomorrow. All right, so now let's look at slide number 7. It says graph the relationship represented by the table. And they give us this table, which is presented to us in a horizontal way, which can be a little bit disorienting for some students. But they do help us to understand that this is an ordered pair. See the X and the Y? The X is always first and the Y is always second. So that's already been, not only did they write it as an ordered pair, but they also plotted it for you. So this is kind of done. If we go to the next one, it says 2 and 100. So they give you the 2. We just have to fill in the number 100. And let's plot that. Over 2 up 100 and put a big old dot. Done. All right, on to the next ordered pair, which is right here. Over 3 up 150. So they give us the 3. We have to put in the 150. And let's plot that. Over 3 up 150. That would go here. All right, and then the last set of numbers they give us in the data table is over 4 up 200. So let's put in the 4 and let's put in the 200 and plot that. Over 4 up 200. All right, so now the next step is to connect your points. We always do that and form that line. So this is a linear function, we would call it. And then we usually like to put the little arrow tips on the end to show that it goes on. All right, so slide number 7, as long as you have all those things, that's done. Let's look at slide number 8. All right, so this time again, we were presented with another horizontal presentation of the t-table, and we're presented with a coordinate plane, just quadrant 1 of a coordinate plane. So we'll go ahead and we'll start plotting. The x is 20 and the y is 100, so we're going to go over 20 and up 100. So that would be right here. Make a big old dot. All right, so this ordered pair is done. Let's do the next ordered pair. Over 40 up 200. Over 40 up 200 would be, oops, went too far, right here. All right, so that's done. Let's do the next ordered pair. Over 60 up 300. Over 60 up 300 right here. That's done. And now for the last ordered pair, over 80 up 400 would be here. Now I should mention that if any of your dots don't appear to line up, you could take like a sheet of paper and hold it up to your dots. Then you may have plotted something incorrectly and you want to go back and check that. But my dots appear to line up beautifully. So we put a line through it, and we usually like to put the little arrow tip on there. All right, so that's done. Slide number 8 is all done as long as you have everything there. All right, let's look at slide number 9. It says graph the relationship represented by the table to find the unknown value of y. So we have to figure out this number right here, and we can use the other points to help us figure that out. But we can also just identify the fact that there's a pattern there. That would be another way to do it. All right, but if we start plotting, let's plot this first. We're going to go over 4 and up 9, which would go here. That's done. We're going to go over 5 and then up 7. Over 5, up 7. Oops, went too far. It's right here. Let's plot this one. Over 6, up 5. Over 6, up 5. We're going to skip this one and come back to it. Over 8, up 1. All right, now if we connect our points, and it's always a good idea to have your line even go all the way through the coordinate plane because you can use it to make predictions. All right, now, if we go over 7 and up how many to get to the line, then now we can see that that matches up with the 3. See on the y line, it matches up with the 3. And that makes sense, right? Because it looks like we're decreasing by 2 each time if we follow the pattern. Subtract 2, get 7. Subtract 2, get 5. Subtract 2, get 3. Subtract 2, get 1. So it does follow the pattern there. All right, so if we look at question number 4 and start plotting here, we're going to go over 1, up 3. So this ordered pair has been plotted. Let's go over 3, up 4. Over 3, up 4. That's going to be right here. Over 5, up 5. Over 5, up 5. Skip this one. Go over 9. Over 9, up 7. Over 9, up 7. Be careful because it's easy to be on the wrong number. All right, and now we're going to connect our points using our best effort. On a Jamboard, again, you don't have the luxury of the line tool like I have on you don't have that tool because I'm using a different software. All right, and we can use the line to help us. If we go over 7 and go up to the line, you can see that this dot right here is the dot that would represent this ordered pair. So what does that match up with on the Y line? It matches up with the 6. So we can go ahead and put in the 6. And doesn't that make sense? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's sequential. All right, so let's look at slide number 10. It says graph the relationship represented by the table to find the unknown value of y. Now, what makes this a little bit tricky is the fact that we're not dealing with whole numbers. We have decimals that we're looking at here. So the first ordered pair, this one shouldn't be too difficult to plot. We'll go over 1 and up 2. That's easy peasy. All right, but the next one is a little more challenging. They want us to plot 2 and a 2 and 5/10. If we go over 2 and up 2 and 5/10, that means that we're looking at a number that's right smack in the middle of a 2 and a 3. So that means we would be right about here. All right, so that's plotted. We're going to skip this one. And let's go over to this one. Over 4, up 3.5. So if 3's here and 4's here, then 3.5 would be right smack in the middle. And then we should see that the dots line up. They form a line, meaning it's linear. And we can use that idea to help us make predictions. Now, it's always a good idea to extend the line if you can, to go all the way through the coordinate plane, because you can use it to make other predictions. All right, now if we use the line to help us get this missing value, let's take a look. If we go over 3 and go up, where are we on the y line? And where are we? We're at the 3. So let's go ahead and put in a 3 in that box. Now, the other thing you should notice is that it does follow a pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4, so that's perfectly sequential. It looks like we're increasing by 5/10 each time. So this one, if we add 5/10 to this, we get this. If we add 5/10 to this number, we get this number, because remember, that's equal to 3 0/10. If we add 5/10 to this number, we get this number. So we can use that to make predictions. If we had to keep the table going, then it's my hope that you would realize that if we add 5/10 to this, we would get 4. But we can also use the graph. If we go over 5, you see how we end up at the 4? We could kind of use the line to help us make predictions, or we can look for patterns and even figure out some sort of a linear function. All right, now for homework, we just did slides, I think it was 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. We did those together. For homework, you will complete slides 1, 2, 3, and 4. Make sure I should see dots on anything that, the first slide, all you need to do is connect the dots on your slide number 1, because they've already plotted all the points for you. So just connect the dots and form that line. The other slides, you will need to put the dots on the coordinate plane by using the table. And when you finish, hit the mark as done or submit button, and then we'll take a look. And hopefully you've had a lot of success with this. All right.